Hey folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Hardcore World of Warcraft. This is the Professor, our Undead Warlock. Hope you're all good. We are picking up straight where we left off yesterday. Hopefully with a name to get out of the starting area. That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, hope you're all well. I've got the webcam back on. I know it's been a few days. I've been doing a lot of my recording in the day, which is not something that I usually do, and I think I've explained before, but my setup doesn't really work for day recording. Like, my lighting setup doesn't really work. It makes me very... It just looks bad. Just trust me, it looks awful. But in the night, I can set it up a lot better. I've got like smart lights in the in the normal fixtures of the ceiling. One behind me, one ahead in front of me, and I can just change the lighting with my phone to make it as good as possible. It's not the best lighting situation, but it's a lot better than what it once was, which was like a lamp right in front of my face. I nearly just ran in because I've been playing so many melee characters recently. So yes, this is the Professor, our Undead Warlock. If you've missed the first episode, I kind of described it there, or explained it there, should I say. The Professor was a character from back in October. One of my first sort of series that kind of got me, like, I don't know, helped me gain a bit of traction, I suppose. And people really liked him because we gave him a bit of a character. And I really liked him as well. And we got to level 22, I think. Probably the best I've ever done in hardcore, which, I know, doesn't bode well for Professor 2.0. But at the time I said, oh, well, that's him done. I'm probably not going to bring him back. But I went against my word because it's been long enough, I think. And I've been interested in playing some Warlock. And I got the hardcore itch again. We're not doing solo self-found, just to make things a little bit easier.
What is it?
Though I do think solo self-found is probably like the funnest way to play. In terms of helping you engage with the world and really making you feel like you're just sort of this character on your own. So we've handed in Samuel Phipps's remains. It's time for spider action. So this is the same day that I'd recorded the last episode of the Hunter. So not loads to report in terms of my weekend and stuff like that. I've already kind of talked about it there. But, you know, had a good afternoon and evening. Work has been going fine. Had my one-to-one with my new line manager, who was also previously was a team leader and someone I worked like bilaterally with. We're basically going through a bit of a change in the organisation, and we've got a new service manager coming in who will eventually be my line manager, but yeah, the current one is sort of just an in-between, and it was good. I get on with them very well. I consider them like a friend anyway, so it was a nice it was a nice vibe to it. And then this afternoon, after work, haven't done much. Questie came home. She is on I was about to say on a murder spree at the moment. That doesn't sound right. A murder documentary, true crime spree at the moment. She loves those shows, and I'm not one of those big true crime aficionados, but I don't mind. They're usually somewhat interesting to watch. But they're getting, and I said this to her, they're getting hyper specific with their premises. With the premise? With their premises? Premises? Whatever. Because she was watching one called Cabin in the Woods, which I originally thought was related to the movie Cabin in the Woods, which is an amazing horror film if you've never seen it. But it wasn't. It's a true crime, like, documentary series about murders where a cabin in the woods has been involved. And I just remember thinking, why? This is very specific. And now, I think the one that they're watching now is, or she's watching now, is something to do with murders where, or crime where, so I'm just adjusting my mic there, where, like, home movies has been involved. So, like, the people, you know, there's a lot of recording of the home movies about it. And I was saying, like, how specific is this going to get in the future? You know, left-handed murderers. Murderers where your father was called Samuel. You know, just very oddly specific stuff. I always have to watch myself when watching sort of stuff with darker content, and, you know, a lot of these, like, ones that are, I don't, not low production value, but not exactly high production value, murder documentaries that you get, they're not really scary because they try too hard. You know, it's got the guy who talks like this. Little did they know the real horror was about to unfold, and, you know, stuff like, you know, so it kind of takes me out of it. But even then, it's about dark stuff, isn't it? You know, murders and blah blah blah. Blah. But I have to watch myself with them, because if we watch too much, it really, like, sinks into my brain, like, really seeps in, and I end up having, like, awful nightmares for, like, ages. Like, I remember, I think it was over COVID, we watched, and she'd already watched it but wanted to show me it. Oh god, I always forget the name of it. I'm gonna have to look, because I genuinely won't remember. So I'm looking now. Criminal Minds, yes, about, like, the FBI criminal profilers and stuff. Really good show. Like, genuinely really enjoyed it. But we were, you know, it was during lockdown, so, like, we had a lot of free time and we were watching a lot of it. Like, there's, you know, a real lot of it. And I think it just sort of, I remember just having these awful just dreams. I had to say, I'm gonna have to stop watching this for a bit, because, like, it really, like, impacted me. So yeah, then I have to go and do a bit of mind bleach, watch some YouTube, and chill out. Yeah, really good show, really good show. Right, we're on 6 of 8 of these. This is going very, very well. We're probably going to level up, maybe not from this one. Yeah, but from the next one for sure. There's the professor there. Let's get a little screenshot of him having a little sit down. Here he is, having a little drinky. Okay, let's get our last. Okay, there's the level up and the last spider as well. Head back to Death Knell, get that handed in. Now I think, well, I not think, I know that in the previous Professor in that series, we played as a Demonology Warlock. I don't know if we'll do that again. We might do, because it was very good to have very powerful pets. But there is a real good argument for Affliction. It is an excellent talent tree, and probably my favourite Warlock talent tree. We'll see how we feel, because the lore, I guess, of the Professor
What would you ask?
Suggests that it should be Demonology. Now, Lorik, regular commenter, and someone that I've been playing some Wild Cataclysm with. I know I've mentioned you a few times, dude. I promise you I'm not just, like, obsessing over you. It's just that, you know, we've been talking a lot recently. I'm just going to buy some water. Where the flip's the chew, isn't it? Hello. Buy 10 of them. Yes, yeah, they commented on the last episode and said about Professor Lore, and so I guess it would be worth explaining it to people who are maybe new or who haven't watched the previous series. But the idea in my head, well, it all starts with my first hardcore character on the channel, which was a human priest called Morden, and he died very quickly, like maybe like level 6 or 7. To the Wendigo caves in Dunmiro. And I was trying to think of a follow-up character, and I kind of settled on a Warlock, and then eventually the Undead, and then the named Professor just came to me. I can't really explain what it was. And I thought, you know, it would be good if the idea was that that the Professor is like the undead reincarnation of Morden, who's, you know, gone away from the light and, you know, has embraced, you know, the dark and demons and all that stuff. And the lore for him is basically that he is a professor who teaches demons how to be better demons. So that was the whole idea. And that's why we went Demonology, because the idea was like he would, you know, make them better than him, and he would use them to his advantage. Yeah, I don't think the Professor ever had any formal, actually, like any formal right to call himself a professor, nor was he part of a university. It's probably all a little bit dodgy. One moment, I've got a little fluffy thing trying to climb up me. Oh, yes. Oh, Scout, you're going to get me killed. You want to see? There's Scout. You can barely see it because she's so dark. You probably can't make out any of her features. Little black fuzzball. If you want to sit down, lovely, you can. Okay, this is going alright. Scout, I really don't appreciate you climbing on the desk. What are you doing? You're opening up all these... Come on now. It's interesting, she's not really... well, she loves a cuddle, but she's not really one to jump up at me when I'm at my desk. She's just happy to sit at my feet. Whereas Louis is usually the one who wants to be picked up. You alright? Oh my god, look at that. You can bet you just look like a black void. Hello. Okay, come on, Knuckle-up. Let's continue even with all these distractions. What is it? I mean, I did have some biscuits before while sat at my desk. Is it crumbs? Crumb obsessed, possibly? Yeah. Sorry, I'm being stared at now. What is it? Right, come on, focus. Let's focus. I know I'm talking, aren't I? I'm talking to our viewers. Do we need to get the main guy yet? No, we probably have to go back because there he is, Mevin Corgal. Are you going down? Go on then. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, Scarlet Initiate. There's another. I mention these kind of quests quite often. I don't know why. I guess some of them just stick out in my head. Sometimes these quests can be absolutely fine. The drop rate is awesome. Sometimes you can be here for quite a while. In this case, we've done really well, actually. I was watching a creator called Misty Mountain Gaming. He's known as Big E or Eric. He was kind of, for anyone who is very new to the channel, might not know this, but he was a big inspiration for me to sort of get back into content creation. Because I did do it in the past. I used to have a YouTube channel. And I did some wild playthroughs. I did a mix of stuff, really. It was a similar thing, I guess, but I didn't know what I was as a creator and stuff like that. I was literally just putting videos out into the void. Like, I never built a community or anything like that. But I did it because, you know, I enjoyed it, and that's why I still do it, essentially. But, you know, we've been able to cultivate a little community here, and I guess what's been really positive about it this time is that I've sort of got an idea of what my brand is. You know, I know that sounds like big language for a small YouTube channel, but I think it's important, you know. But I stopped because, well, I initially stopped because we got our other dog, Louis, our first dog. Because I used to have I'm not a big fan of the phrase, but I used to have a man cave up in the attic, which is converted attic. And I was up there, and that's where I'd go and record stuff. It's also where I would work in the day. But the thing is, firstly, I felt a bit isolated up there, and I always felt a bit weird. And I'm not knocking anyone who has a relationship that does it like this, but, like, you know, if I haven't seen my partner all day, she works, you know, it doesn't matter that I work from home and she works in an office. It wouldn't matter if we both worked away or whatever. Don't see her all day. She gets in at 5. We talk, say, you know, how's your day, blah, 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 let's cook some food. And then I say, oh, I'm going back to the office to play some games now, or whatever, or to do whatever. Like, it just felt, it never sat right with me, and I know it works for a lot of people. And that's not to say that when we, you know, for the rest of the day, you know, after work, we're attached to the hip and stuff like that. It's not that. We still go and potter about the house and do other things and, like, you know, Curse might watch a true crime stuff. And I still play games and stuff. But the good thing is that my desk and my setup is in our through plan downstairs. You know, we've got a front room and a back room that's without a wall, so it's all one big thing. My desk is nicely sat in a little alcove, or incove, I suppose. That kind of breaks the room up, and, like, so where I am now, pointing this way, over there is one of the couches towards the TV, so Kers can sit there and chill. I can do my own thing. We can talk. Hey, do you need something? Blah blah blah. You know. Anyway, another reason why it wasn't really working up there is because Louis was born deaf. He's a deaf pup. Poor little thing. I mean, he doesn't know any different, so it's not like. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really affect him. You know, I think it's affected how well we've been able to train him. He's still a really good boy, but yeah, there's a few issues there. But still, one thing he didn't like was being up in the attic, as a puppy, because it's quite, it's 3 floors up. That makes it sound like the house is massive. It's not. It's just we happen to have a nice loft conversion up there. Oh my god, running about, nearly get myself killed. So it was 3 floors to get down if he needed to go use the bathroom or whatever, and it just wasn't really working out. So in between that setup and my setup now, I literally just started working from the sofa with a work laptop. And that was that was okay. But I needed somewhere to feel like a bit more work. Like I needed like a workstation, really. What was the point I was making? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, so about 2 years ago, I got my first proper gaming PC. Before that, I often had gaming laptops and stuff, which are fine, and you can get good ones, but I'd never had like that, like a decent gaming PC with like a setup and like my own desk and your own little battle station or whatever people like to call it. And anyway, oh yeah, now I remember where we're talking about. So yeah, I had this new setup, and the dogs both settled into that, and which allowed me to start recording again. And I had the thought of I want to do this, but I was lacking like a direction and inspiration. And I came across Biggie, Misty Mountain Gaming, and I loved the vibe that he had, and his openness and his conversational kind of style. And I ended up becoming part of his community, and we ended up talking and stuff like that. And I mentioned, I think, in a Q&A or a comment, I just said like, hey, I love your stuff and blah blah blah. And one day he commented on one of my videos, and we've talked ever since. And I think that initial, I think he sent a few people my way, which really helped. And he is he's a great dude. And he said something, which was the initial point of that ramble, and I can't remember what he said now. What were we talking about? Oh my god, I'm so silly. He made a point and I wanted to bring it up, and now I can't remember what it was. Well, that's going to ease at me and probably ease at you guys. I do apologise. We are done with Death Knell. I guess I'll just give a shout out to Big E. Go and check him out. He's awesome. That is going to bug me, though. Was it an add-on or something? Oh, right. Maybe it was... Was that because I was talking about quests and the like, and drop rates? It might have been this. He has an add-on that counts how many of one type of enemy that you've killed, so you can track how bad the grind was. And I would consider getting it, but it would infuriate me, if it got to the point where it was you were past the odds. I think that was the point. I hope it was. Anyway, let's move on. Now, if you know me, and you've watched some of my playthroughs before, you will know that I am not a fan of leaving the initial starting area until level 6, because it always gets you done just before. As you can see, we're very close. And I don't know why, it's just one of those things. I think any little way that you can get ahead of the curve is worth doing. So just this extra little XP, so when we get to Brill, we're already into a level 6. I think it just helps. There we go. Now we can head off. Pick up the usual quest to go to the inn. And I believe there's a few farmer quests, isn't there? Gordo's task. Oh no, maybe I'm thinking it. Maybe they'd add that in Cataclysm. Oh no, there it is. Fields of Grief, yeah. There it is. I think it's just picking up some pumpkins. I think I'm going to start a long-term project, guys. I was thinking, you know, about, and you've probably heard me ramble about it in the past few episodes of Threepwood, about, you know, TBC plans and what my anniversary character is going to be and who I'm going to have and all that stuff. And whether it would be happy or I'd level something else. And I am going to level something else, but I don't think I'm going to do it this traditional way of adding, you know, another character recording this way. I think I'm going to try a long-term edited journey, I think. I think that's the plan. Where I'll just, like I've said before, there are times when I can play, but I can't necessarily like do voiceover stuff. But, you know, there are times where I could be playing and I could be, you know, recording some background footage. And I thought I may as well use that time to try and create something. And, because I do like doing the scripted voiceover stuff, you know, it is a real... I get a lot of creative joy from doing that. And we've got so long until TBC comes out. There's no pressure to get it out. I think, as someone who does like episodic content, and almost like, I don't know, I sometimes almost see it as like a daily vlog, especially the Threepwood stuff. It's very like, it's a very personal thing, and to be honest, this episode's been quite, you know, like that my style is kind of like that. You know, comfy and conversational, as I often call it. I feel the need to try and, you know, do like daily content and stuff like that. So I do feel like there is a bit of a, not a time pressure, but a time frame on which we need to get, you know, an episode out. Whereas I think if I just had this long-term idea, I can capture cool footage of things happening and then I can do like a voiceover of what's happening. I think that could be a lot of fun indeed. And I think it's going to be a little different. I think I'm going to do it on a hardcore, not hardcore, on a PvP realm, which is not always my, well, very rarely nowadays is my go-to. But I think it could be interesting in terms of what we could do, you know, content-wise. You know, if we, I don't know, imagine if we like met a rival as we're leveling through and something like that, you know, and we have battles on the way through and stuff like that. I think it could be fun, and it's not, you know, it's been so long since I've done PvP stuff, and I've got plenty of PvE characters to enjoy. Why not dip my toes a bit into that side of it, you know? So yeah, I think that's the plan. There's all our pumpkins. And we can head... Oh, gosh, okay. Let's get this farmhand. Oh, gosh, and another one. think we're okay here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, good stuff. Let's get a little wavy action going. Press the complete wrong button there. Cool. Right, guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Professor's Hardcore Journey 2.0. I will get us to Brill for the next episode and we can get going. I have a Darkhound chasing me. And Knocklop has decided to engage, so maybe let's just get this done before we continue. So we know it's done. There we go. Yes, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it very much. Thank you for all the support on the channel, whether it be Threepwood the Hunter or the Hardcore series. I know I haven't been doing any streams recently. I'll get back into that soon. It's just hard to balance, you know. There will be a birthday stream on July 11th. All the information's in the Discord. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate a little like. It really helps. If you're new and you're unsubscribed, should I say, a subscription is massive for me. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Very, very close. That would be just amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. Love you lots. And bye for now.